Good morning, everyone. Let us continue with day 35, part 6 of designing the cost component structure. So, until now, we have designed the cost component structure and we have assigned the GL accounts. Now, as part of next step, we will be assigning or linking the energy and utility activity with power and fuel cost component. So, to do this, let us log in into SAP. And once we have logged in, let's go into the SPRO menu, SAP reference IMG, going in the controlling. Under the cost center, accounting, actual posting, period and closing, and here we have activity allocation, and then here we have splitting, and then define splitting structure. So here first thing what I have done is I have designed the splitting structure, which is RG, and the description is RCI splitting structure. Next thing that I have done is done the splitting rule, define the splitting rule. So RG again splitting rule and RCI splitting rule, and the method of linkage is 12 based on the activity quantity. So let me explain a little bit of this concept to you. Suppose we have one activity for labor, one activity for machine, and we have a uh, expense say power. This power I want to allocate into these two activities. So how I can allocate? Let's say 20 hours of labor has worked and 30 hours of machine has run, and the expenses is 100. So if I am allocating the power expense to the labor and machine activities based on the activity quantity, then the allocation will be like this divided by 50 into 20 and so on. Again this divide by 50 into 30. So 60, 40, 100, this is how it will be divided, and this is what we are going to set up. So we are going to allocate power and fuel cost both into only one activity, that is energy or utility. So based on its activity quantity, so let's say there will be 30 activities, 30 kilowatt of consumption of the electricity in a particular month, and the expense that has incurred is 100 for power and 200 for fuel. So if I allocate based on the activity, then 100, and then this by 30 into 30, because there is a single activity on which it is to be allocated, this by 30 into again 30. So total expense will be allocated to the energy or utility itself. So this is the concept that I am going to configure now. We have the splitting rule. Now let's go into the assignment. Assignment we have created as RG. So in the RG we create, like we want to create a link for energy and utility, and the splitting rule that will be assigned is splitting RG splitting rule, and this RG splitting rule says that based on the activity quantity the cost has to be allocated. Okay, now let's check what are the assignments for this. So RCIG is my controlling area, and I have assigned this energy activity into this cost element group. Means I have linked the energy activity type with the GL accounts for power, fuel and energy. Now how I have created this energy as an activity type. How I have created? The T code is KL01 you create, and KL03 you display that. So I am opening a display transaction for energy. So the unit by which the energy or utility will be measured is kWh, and this is the GL account that we already discussed for energy or utility, and activity type category is 1, plan indicator is 1, and actual price indicator is 5. So this is the setting in the activity type. So this activity type I have assigned over here, and this activity type I have linked to this cost element groups, means nothing but the GL account groups. So GL account group we create with KAH1 and display with KAH3 slash O KAH3. So this is the cost element group that I have created, and you see here power, fuel, and energy and utility activities activity GL accounts are linked together in this cost element group. So I have said that these three GL accounts are related to this particular activity, and the splitting has to be based on the RG rule, which says based on the activity quantity, and this splitting rule is assigned to the splitting structure, which is RG. The next activity after designing the splitting structure is assigning the splitting structure to the cost center. So for this I created one cost center, which is RCIG production cost center 1. In this cost center we will be producing the goods, and it is 2025. Let's click on display, wherein you see this particular splitting structure RG has been assigned to this cost center, which is the production cost center. Now let me show you how the cost center is created. That is, KS01 is the T code for creating, and KS03 is for display. So to create the cost center, we provide the description of the cost center with the person responsible. What is the cost center category, which is F. F means for production, and we have the standard hierarchy that we designed when creating the cost center, and we also have to link this cost center to the profit center, but as of now we have not designed any profit center, so we have not linked over here. But I have saved this cost center without a profit center, and then I went here and linked the cost center and the splitting structure that you can see over here. RG is the splitting structure, it is assigned to this particular cost center. The next step that we have to do is assign our cost component structure to the company code and plant. So for that we go into the OKTZ code slash n OKTZ. So here you have the assignment of the organization elements. Here you see for the RCII company code, whatever plant it has and whatever is the costing variant. This costing variant we will discuss in the days to come. So we have assigned the RG as the main cost component structure, and RS is the summary cost component structure, and this is valid from 1st January 2025. This is the next step that we have done, and another step that we should do is assigning the cost component structure to the versions. So we have to assign this to the version 0, version R1 and R2 that we had designed. Going in version 0, controlling area RCIG, and if you go in the fiscal year 2025, you could see the cost component structure, main cost component structure, which is RG, is assigned over here. Similarly, if we go into R1, you could see under 2025 the RG cost component split is cost component structure is assigned. So this is how this particular assignment works. So we have assigned version 0, version R1 and R2, all the versions. So this is the complete configuration for the cost component structure. If there is something pending or any modification has to be made during our actual testing, we will come back and see the configuration, and we will do modification if we find any issues. But this is the end-to-end configuration for the cost component structure that we have to follow to configure it. With this, I am closing for the day. We'll meet again tomorrow. Thank you.